What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the weekly warehouse preview. We've got an exciting one today because we've got new product. You heard me right. It's been a little bit of a, I don't know, it's been a little quiet these last few weeks. The new year came around. Companies are kind of getting prepped and ready for all their new signings. They're getting all these new ideas ready for the year, but we finally have some new product. Not really from a manufacturer. We just said, no, fine, we'll do it ourselves. And we've got more custom stamps. So we're gonna start with that. Custom stamped MVP. It is back. Listen, I'm not going to be TMZ here, but I think you and I both know that there are rumors about certain players, cough, cough, Eagle McMahon, potentially going to MVP. So get ahead of the trend, okay? We are. We've got custom stamped MVP ready to go. So let me tell you what we got. First thing we got, everything's the same stamp. I'll show you the stamp. This is a good one. This is a mountain stamp. That's like, you can see the outline of the foundation logo. We actually ran this probably 3 years ago. This is pretty early when I was working with the company. We ran this on Trilogy, specifically Felons. I think just Felons. So I think this is one of my favorites. You can see like the little black basket on the lake there, and it's a cool mountain scene. I really love this stamp. So we ran this on MVP. The molds we've got time lapses. This is really exciting. Custom stamped time lapses. We've got a bunch of them. If you have not thrown the time lapses yet, I will explain them to you. And if you threw the proto time lapse, you need to listen to this because the stock ones are different. I threw the proto time lapse. Hunter threw the proto time lapse. It was so overstable. It was near useless. The stock ones are just a nice overstable driver. I would compare them to a destroyer, honestly, or a PD2 maybe. Like, they have good overstability, but they do have a tiny bit of give and glide. Like they're usable. They're actually a really fun disc, and they're very comfortable in the hand. We've got a ton of fun ones with like the swirly rims and everything. So yeah, time lapses. Next we have the Watt. We've got some really cool ones on here as well. Some of these have like some swirly patterns in them and whatnot. But the Watt is basically like the slightly slimmer and faster glitch. If you haven't thrown these are a putter that feels like a glitch, but it's just a little closer to a putter than a catch disc. Like it gets closer to that line. So you're still gonna see that really straight flight and a ton of glide, but it is gonna go a little further. It's heavier. These are like 172, 173, like their normal putter weights, and it's gonna handle wind better than a glitch would. So we got the Watt. This one I'm really excited about. These are Pyro, they're Prism Pyro. So Prism plastic, I think this is like the coolest thing that MVP does. This is a see-through, sparkly plastic on the outside, a very durable one with a, they're like neutron plastic on the inside. Some of the, oh my gosh, some of the combinations this makes is crazy. Like, they just get such a beautiful shine out of their plastic. I mean, look how clean that white is with that bright yellow on the outside. Like, these are gorgeous. I mean, holy smokes. I can't get enough of these. And then some of them even, you get ones like this where the rim matches perfectly the center of the disc. This one's even a little more opaque, or transparent rather. It is, those are really sick. The Pyro, if you've never thrown it, is an overstable mid-range. Not like a Justice or like anything crazy overstable, but they're very reliable. Like, they do have nice overstability. They're really comfortable in the hand and have a good fade. They're nice for forehands. The Pyro is sick. I used to bag one of these. And these are, wow, these are gorgeous. Okay, and then last but not least, everybody's favorite, we've got the hex, of course. We've got neutron hexes. As you can see in the top of these rims, they really went hard in the paint for us here. I mean, we've got the swirly rims. Are these fission? They're just neutron, okay. Just neutron hexes. Yeah, we gotta say, we haven't had neutron hexes for a little bit. Just crazy swirls on these rims. They're absolutely insane. So everybody's favorite mid-range, the hex. If you've never thrown the hex, you're missing out. It could be the best mid-range that exists right now. It's pretty awesome. So there you go. We've got time lapses, we've got Watts, we've got the Pyro, and we've got the hex, all with the foundation mountain stamp on it. These are going live 5 p.m. Friday today. So depending on when this video drops, it'll be coming out tonight, or it's already out, or it's already sold out, depending on when you're watching this. So make sure to be keeping an eye on the site for these, because they will go quickly. Yeah, MVP, we're back. In the Discraft aisle, I'm gonna show you a bunch of Discraft molds, and then I'm gonna tell you about a pretty cool deal that we're doing right now for this weekend if you wanna buy some new Discraft. So bear with me. Okay, to start with, Zone OS. If you haven't checked out the Zone OS yet, a lot of mixed opinions on this disc when it first came out. People being like, is it worth it? Is it necessary? Is it actually that overstable? Yes, yes, and yes. I love the Zone OS. I think that when I first got it, I kind of felt to myself like, I might just be bagging this for the gimmick. Like, it's just kind of fun to have this crazy overstable disc. But I found that it is really useful. Less because of, it's not the overstability in the sense that it just goes really left. That's not what this disc does. It just gets to the ground. It just dumps. I use this disc primarily for two things. Number one, a shot that I'm going to throw really hard and have just dig into the ground. Like, this disc will almost want to get to vertical and just dig downwards, especially if you give it any hyzer at all. It just goes down. So I like that. It fights wind, obviously. And then the thing I use it the most for is really tight line flex shots, because you can throw it super hard and super vertical on a forehand or a backhand, and it fights out of it. As long as you give it enough speed to get it up to speed, it will flex out of it immediately and bite the other way. So the Zone OS is so sick. If you haven't thrown it, we have it currently. We have a couple Jawbreaker. We have it in Z, and we have it in Putter Blend, and we have soft ones, and we have ESP. So we have, holy cow. That's like the coolest disc I've ever seen. We might not have this one, but we have the other ones in ESP. Yeah, so make sure to check that out. We also have normal zones in stock right now. Another great underrated disc we've got a bunch of is the Thrasher. Okay, this is like, if you've ever watched Missy Gannon play and just effortlessly throw hyzer flips all over the course, she bags like 6 of these. It's like the only disc she throws. Right now we have those also in Z, ESP. We have them in Z Lite as well. Talk about a bomber disc. If you're looking for like a beginner distance driver, or maybe somebody who's a little bit younger, doesn't have a ton of strength yet, is looking for a distance driver, this would be a fantastic option. Yeah, the Thrasher is sick. One of the easiest hyzer flip discs out there, and they go very far. Few other molds I want to talk about, kind of along the same lines as the Thrasher, the Sting, but this is a fairway driver. If you've watched Robbie C at all, you know he loves the Sting. I think this is one of those fairways that goes under the radar. There's another 7-speed right next to it that also goes under the radar, the Stalker. This is a good pair right here because the Sting is a little bit less stable, the Stalker a bit straighter, and you get a nice 1-2 punch. 7 speeds are just a great controllable disc to have in your bag because they're just a little more than mid-ranges, but you still feel like you have a lot of control over them. And let's be honest, the difference between a 7-speed and a 9 or 10-speed isn't that much out there. You're not going to get that much more golf distance. Okay, this way. So the last disc I want to talk about is the Crank SS. This is going to be kind of our highlight disc of the episode today. And this disc, so the first time I really knew about this disc was when Brody started using it as his roller disc, and just throwing some of the most insane, massive rollers I've ever seen with it. He was just throwing it on hyzer or flat and just having it get down and roll for miles. Now, obviously, I don't throw as far as Brody, so for me, this is a really good hyzer flip forehand disc because my forehand is a little bit weaker, or just a big max distance like hyzer flip in the air and get a long turnover type disc. But you're looking for a ton of speed and a bunch of understability. The Crank SS is an awesome option for this. We mentioned the Crank last week. We also have the normal Crank in stock. The Crank and Crank SS are a sweet pair to use in your distance driver lineup, and people just ignore them. They get kind of tossed to the side, but man, they are awesome. And like I said, this is one of the best roller discs ever. So in honor of the Crank, we are currently doing code GETCRANKED for 20% off all Discraft this weekend. Okay, that is 20% off all Discraft on the site, which is an insane deal. So code GETCRANKED, all in one word there, 20% off all Discraft. So if you're looking to buy some, now would be the time. That is an insane deal. So yeah, and we have a bunch in stock. I mean, I'll just throw some other names out. We've got the Hades, the Heat, the Flick, the Focus, the Machete, the Comet, the Challenger, the Fierce, the Buzz OS, the Archer, the Avenger SS, the Comet. We've got Ledgestone stuff still. We've got Raptors. We've got Vultures. We have so much Discraft. So if you want to pick some out, now would be a great time. 20% off this weekend only with code GETCRANKED. All right, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some Trilogy because I think there's a lot of Trilogy molds that get slept on, but I think Trilogies need some hype. You know, I feel like they need some new signings this offseason and to generate some hype. I guess they signed, no, they lost Carter Aarons. See, they need some hype right now. So I'm going to mention a few molds, particularly some of the stuff that Ricky throws, because you guys know Ricky is really good. So I feel like you should listen to what he throws. First, we got the Felon. This is probably his, like, between this and the Slammer, this would be like his signature disc. But this one is in the beautiful Supreme Orbit plastic. When you're talking about quality of plastic that's out there on the market, Supreme, it doesn't get any better than that, and Supreme Orbit just adds that incredible halo effect to it. This is just a gorgeous disc. I love what they did with the stamp, adding the little fuse there. If you haven't thrown the Felon, don't listen to what Hunter says. It is a good disc. I would not say it's as overstable as some people may think. Now, in this plastic, it probably is, but typically you're going to get a straighter flight out of a Felon than you would like a Captain's Raptor or a Firebird. It isn't quite as beefy as those, but it is quite useful, and it feels great in the hand. It's just a phenomenal forehand disc. I mean, Ricky Wysocki, probably the best forehand player in the world, and he relies on this disc. Another disc he relies on for that awesome forehand is the Enforcer. He loves the Enforcer, and look at these beautiful Raptor Eye Enforcers we have. I mean, these are just incredible to look at. They release artwork, and look at this. This is another great one. This is the Orbit Moonshine Enforcer. Like, Trilogy's got some artwork on there on the shelves right now, and so the Enforcer, that is an overstable distance driver that he relies on. Another disc that he's liked to throw a lot in the past, and also that Kristen Tatar loves to throw, and that's the Explorer. This is a slightly overstable fairway driver. This one's an Opto Ice. This one here was for her Grand Slam. We have a couple of these left to commemorate Kristen Tatar's Grand Slam, winning all the majors last year. This is a great fairway driver and a really cool stamp to commemorate that. So if you haven't checked out Trilogy, make sure you do. There are a lot of really good players right now, such as Kristen Tatar and Ricky Wysocki, that are throwing Trilogy and having a lot of success with it. So give it a shot. If the pros can do it, we can too. We're going to finish up with some merch. And the first merch I'm going to talk about isn't actually here in the warehouse, but you can order it online right now. It's brand new. We've got Grip Locked merch and Tour Life merch. So for those of you who don't know, Grip Locked recently rebranded. So we created a ton of new merch for that. We have a new logo, new colors, new everything. And it's awesome. We've got hats, hoodies, long sleeves, t-shirts, anything you might need in the Grip Locked collection on our website. So you can just go to the Grip Locked apparel collection or just search Grip Locked on our site and you'll find it. We also have Tour Life merch. Not as cool in my opinion. You know, I think the Grip Locked merch is better, but I'm sure everybody would agree with that. I think everybody would agree with that. But the Tour Life merch is very cool as well, and that is also all brand new. A whole new line of Tour Life merch. So if you love watching the Tour Life podcast, you can also go to the Tour Life collection on our site or just search Tour Life and you'll be able to find it that way too. Make sure to check out those new merch collections though, because they are really, really cool. So Grip Locked and Tour Life merch. I will say there's a little bit of an internal competition going on right now between those podcasts, trying to sell more of their podcast versus the others. So please support Grip Locked. Appreciate it. Some stuff we do at the warehouse. We still have just a few left of this combo hoodie in this washed blue. This is like my favorite sweatshirt we've ever done. I love the logo. These sweatshirts are super comfortable. They're not like outrageously heavyweight, but they are nice and warm. And they're just kind of like loose and flowy. Like they have a nice fit to them. They're very comfortable. It's really good loungewear stuff, but it's rugged enough to hold up to a disc golf round too. Love this sweatshirt. Also want to shout out our dad hats. These performance dad hats have just been, a lot of people have loved them. I'm wearing one right now, wearing the black one right now. They're super comfortable. We have them in this black, blue. We have a navy one. Down here, we've got a bright yellow, and then there's also some gray ones as well. So make sure to check out those. If there's any hat I could recommend to you from our site, it's these. Like, they're just fantastic. They're incredibly durable. They have a nice wicking material to them. They're lightweight, and they rock. And by the time it gets warm out again and people are all wanting to buy hats, these will be sold out or lower in stock, so get ahead of it, you know. It won't be long before it's warming up again. But that is going to do it for this week's Weekly Warehouse Preview. Remember, the MVP custom stamp drop is today, 5 p.m. Eastern. Also, make sure to check out the new podcast merch on the site, and we'll see you next week.